What is going on, everyone? I am back with yet another video for you guys today. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is the Crimson Carver, right? I am a Warframe content creator over on YouTube, and I'm a variety streamer over on Twitch. Now, today we're going to be jumping into Equinox, right? Now, Equinox is not what I would call a new player-friendly Warframe, right? But I'm going to be doing my best to give a fairly comprehensive beginner's guide for Equinox so that if you decide to pick up the Warframe, you can have at least enough knowledge of her and her abilities to know what you're doing. Now, without further ado, let's jump into it, and I hope you guys learned something new. So, you saw somebody running around with this Warframe, and you thought, oh wow, they look cool. I wonder what they are, and how can I get them? Well, I'm here to help answer that question. So, Equinox, right? Equinox is a Warframe, first and foremost, right? You can get her from the market, as well as a Warframe slot and a reactor pre-installed for 325 plat. Okay, but what if I don't have the plat? Well, that's fine. You can buy her main blueprint from the market for 25,000 credits. And if you want to go farm her, you're going to have to farm out, I don't know how to break this to you, but you're going to have to farm out two different aspects, right? You'll have to farm out the day aspect and the night aspect. Both can be farmed from Titania on the planet Uranus by fighting the boss Till Regor, right? So, the way that it works is, right, you'll farm out the day systems chassis and neuroptics, and its blueprint, you'll craft that. You'll do the exact same for the day aspect, right? You'll craft that. Slap them together on the foundry, and 3 days later, bada bing, bada boom, you have Equinox. Okay, great. Now I have Equinox. Now what? Well, Equinox, when she's built, will have 270 health, 270 shield, 135 armor, and 175 energy, with a base sprint speed of 1.15. Okay, but Equinox Prime is already out. What if I want her? What's the difference between them? What makes Equinox Prime so much better than regular Equinox? Well, let me show you. Right, so we go here. So, what's the difference? Well, first things first, Equinox Prime has a higher health pool than what regular Equinox will have. She also has higher armor and higher energy. So that is what the difference is. And as an added little secret piece of information, if you ever find yourself in the void and you come across those white and gold orbs, playing as Equinox Prime will allow you to gain, I think it's about 300 energy just by running past them. Now keep in mind this will only occur once per orb, so yeah, keep that in mind. But yeah, that's essentially why Equinox Prime would be better than regular Equinox. Not to mention, you only have to farm out one Warframe. So there's that too. Okay, I've got Equinox Prime, but I have no idea how her abilities work. Well, let me explain that to you, right? So her passive, 10% health orbs are converted into energy orbs, and 10% of energy orbs are converted into health orbs. Well, what does this mean? Well, essentially, every time you pick up an energy orb, you're going to get a portion of health. Every time you pick up a health orb, you're going to get a portion of energy. That's how her passive works, right? Which is very nice. Now, her first ability, Metamorphosis, right? This is going to allow you to switch between forms, right? So, in her day form, she gains a 1.28 times damage multiplier as well as a speed increase. While in her night form, she gains increased shield capacity and increased armor. Now, this obviously has a drain and a duration, right? So the duration is for the buff, right? So it's going to, so basically the duration is going to be how long the damage multiplier and the speed increase last, or how long you have that extra shield and armor for, right? It's got a base drain of 25 energy with a duration of 25 seconds, right? So, given what we can see here, right, if we put on efficiency mods, right, like say, oh, I don't know, maybe Streamline, for example, right? Chuck on Streamline, bada bing, bada boom. Your energy drain has just gone down. How come? Well, Streamline grants ability efficiency, right? And ability efficiency will reduce the amount of drain over time as well as the initial cost of certain abilities. It's just how it works, right? Now, okay, but this ability also has a duration. That's fine. If we slap on, say, oh, I don't know, maybe a mod like Augur Message, right? We gain more duration for the ability. But how do I get Augur Message? Well, in case you're having trouble getting your ability mods, right, like Continuity, Intensify, or Stretch, you can go to the Plains of Eidolon, right, and look for one of the bounties that has the Augur mods, Gladiator mods, or Vigilante mods, right? Each rotation is going to be different. It's going to have different mods. It might say Augur Message for one, Augur Secrets for another, Augur Seeker for another, or Augur Reach, right? Now, there's obviously other Augur mods, but the ones we're focusing on for the most part are the ability efficiency, the ability strength, the ability range, and the ability duration mods, given that Streamline is one of the earliest mods we get in the game. So, keep that in mind. Okay, but it says that we have a damage multiplier and a speed increase. Can I make that better? Yes. Yes, you can. You put on strength mods like Augur Secrets, right? Oh, wow, check it out. Our speed increase went up. Our speed damage multiplier went up. Our shield capacity went up. And our armor went up. All because we added strength. Pretty damn cool. Right. What about Rest and Rage, her second ability? Well, as you can see, it's got a drain, but this time it's got a range, duration, and a radius, right? Okay, but what does it do? Well, essentially, while in day form, you target an enemy, right? And it is going to affect them with damage vulnerability. But it's not just going to affect them, right? It's going to affect all the enemies within a 5-meter radius of the cast, right? So, you hit an enemy and with that ability, and then boom, every enemy within a 5-meter radius now takes 50% increased damage because of the damage vulnerability, right? Kind of cool. It also gives you another speed increase, right? So we have 2 speed increases here. We've got one from Metamorphosis, which gives us 15%, and then an additional one from Dayform from Rest and Rage, giving us an additional 20 for a total of 35% increased speed, right? Okay, but what about the other version? Well, Night. This is pretty cool, in my opinion. It's one of my personal favorite abilities of Equinox, right? Night allows you to put enemies to sleep, right? Now, there is a wake-up threshold, obviously, right? So, 50% of their health, and they're going to just be like, oh, something hit me. I should fight back. Yes, you probably should. But, yeah, you can put enemies to sleep for about 22 seconds. So, yeah. Now, just like the first ability, right, it does, in fact, have a cost. In this case, it costs 25 energy to cast. It now has a range of 50 meters, a duration of 22 seconds, and a radius of 5 meters, right? Now, if you remember those Augur mods we talked about, right? We put strength with Augur secrets on, right? Our our damage vulnerability has gone up, and our speed increase has gone up, right? Okay. What about Augur message? Well, that's our duration mod, right? So we put that on, and boom, the ability now lasts longer, right? So you pop the ability, they stay asleep for longer, or they're affected with damage vulnerability for longer. Kind of nice. Okay, but that 5 meters, that 5 meter radius is not that good. That's only 2.5 meters in every direction. Well, that's okay. We can just slap on a range mod with the use of Augur Reach. That is going to increase the range of our ability, right? Not just the range, but the radius, right? So we can now affect enemies uh, 60 plus meters away, and it has a radius of 6.5 meters, which is not bad if you ask me. It's pretty nice, right? Now, say that cost is a little high though. I mean, it's not that high, but say you're trying to build up you're trying to spend less energy as possible, right? Well, that's okay, right? We're gonna go to our good old friend Streamline. I'm gonna slap that on and boom, the cost just got reduced. How about that? Now, pacify and provoke, right? So, in day form, it's going to give you ability strength, right? It's gonna basically say, hey, well, this is active, you gain 20% ability strength, but it's going to drain 3 energy per ability that allies cast. Right? So keep that in mind. Now, in night form, it is going to cost 0.5 energy per enemy affected, and it's going to multiply the outgoing damage, right? So every enemy affected now takes increased damage due to the damage multiplier that you and your allies have. Now, okay, but that drain over time can get pretty high, right? And I lose 3 energy per ability that my allies cast. How do I fix this? Well, slap on Streamline. Boom. Reduce cost, reduced energy per ability, reduced energy per enemy. Okay, but you said it's one of the mods that helps reduce that. Well, yes, that's true. It is one of the mods that helps reduce the drain over time. The other stat that helps with that is duration, right? Slap on Augur Message, and boom, it's gone down even further. Not bad. Now, what if I want to increase the radius? That's okay, we'll slap on range. Boom, what does that do? Oh, wow. It increases the radius of our ability to 20 meters, right? That is a hefty radius, mind you. And that's only from 30% ability range. Not bad. Now, what if I want to increase the amount of strength that my allies gain and the damage multiplier? Well, we'd put on Augur Secrets. See? That's going to increase the damage multiplier, and it's going to increase the strength at which you can give your allies. So it's kind of nice, right? Okay, what about the final ability? Well, the final ability, right, is called Mend and Maim. Now, in my honest opinion, right, it is probably one of the best heals that I have seen in the game, and the amount of damage you gain from Maim is quite funny, personally. So, let me elaborate, right? During day form, you deal essentially you cast the ability, you store up damage, then that damage is then multiplied, right? Now, unfortunately, you cannot modify this damage multiplier, but you can modify the base damage, right? So, what does that mean? Okay, so if I chuck on August Secrets, what does this do? All it does is it's going to affect your damage in day form, your shield per kill in night form. That's all it does. It also has a radius, right? So, if you wanted to hit more enemies, you would put range on, right? Okay, boom, there we go. Increase radius. Cool. Okay, but it has a hefty drain over time. Yeah, it definitely does. And if we were to chuck on Streamline, right? Check this out. The drain over time gets reduced. The initial cost gets reduced as well. But we can further reduce that drain over time with Augur Message, right? So as a duration, boom, it just went down even further. Pretty cool. Okay, so I have the Warframe, I have the Prime, I have an okay build that I am content with, but I want something to really give this build some originality. Right, that there is where our augments come into play. Now, Equinox has four augments, right? Her first one, Duality, is for her ability Metamorphosis, right? Now, the way that this works is you cast Metamorphosis. The opposite side of the one that you choose, breaks free from Equinox, dealing 300% extra damage to enemies, right? Now, it's important to note that you cannot affect the 300% extra damage that it does. You can't modify it whatsoever. But what you can modify is how long that other half is out for, right? So if you slap on Augur Message, right? Check it out. It now lasts longer. So that is how duality works. Now, if that's your playstyle, awesome, go for it. Now, our next one is for Rest and Rage, which is Calm and Frenzy, right? So, if you kill an enemy that's affected by Rest and Rage, what's going to happen is that the effects that enemy is under, in other words, the effects of Rest and Rage, are then going to spread to every other enemy within, I'd say about 5 meters. I believe it's like a 5 meter radius. Um, so if you have one enemy that you affect that is dead center, and you kill that enemy, and there are enemies all around it, right? Within 5, 10, 15 meters away from that enemy, right? In every direction, right? What's going to happen is that every enemy within those 5 meters is going to be affected with Rest and Rage's debuff. Now, we can actually increase the range of this with the use of ranged mods like Augur Reach, right? Boom. It now just went up to 6.5 meters, which is kind of nice. Unfortunately, you cannot affect the duration. I have tried, it will not work. So there is that to keep in mind. Now, we also have something called Peaceful Provocation, right? This is an augment for Pacify and Provoke. Now, the way that this works is, say your ally takes damage, right? Well, whenever they take damage, enemies are going to be inflicted with a slow, okay? So, that's that to keep in mind. Now, the slow can be affected by strength mods, right? So go over here. And you put on August Secrets, right? Boom. That slow just went up. But wait, what's this strength? Well, that's okay. Whenever you kill an enemy under the effects of Pacify and Provoke, in this case Provoke, you will also gain an extra boost of ability strength, which can also be modified with ability strength. So keep that in mind. So that is how Peaceful Provocation works. Now, the fourth ability, right? The fourth ability also has an augment. It's called energy transfer. Now, the way that this works is you pop your fourth ability, you store up damage, right? Or in this case, it's called a charge, okay? So you store up a charge, you switch forms, and normally that charge disappears. But with energy transfer, what happens is the charge from the previous form will now be transferred to the current form that you're using. So say you got 1 mil healing while in night form, then you transformed into day form. Boom, you now have 1 million damage stored up, right? Now you cannot modify the conversion percentage. It is fixed at 100%. So keep that in mind. And I think that about covers all of Equinox's augments.
Their rage is vehement, their focus impressive. Give them all warriors' death.
The Orican Neural Sentry is attempting to purge you from this place. Stand by for life support. troopers. The longer you hold out, the deeper it can search. But you need to leave. Extraction is ready. Void manifestations, drawn to this cursed place of stolen lives. They will drain your life support unless they are destroyed. All manner of Orokin technology may work here due to the Circulus's proximity. If you have an Necromech, you may use it.
As you conquer the foe, so you conquer yourself.
Casting crown.